At the biotech company Genesis, scientist Will Rodman works on a new drug called ALZ-112, designed to repair brain cells damaged by Alzheimer's. The first trials are on chimpanzees, and one female, nicknamed Bright Eyes, shows remarkable progress. Her problem-solving skills rise fast, and she becomes noticeably more alert. 2 months into her trial, Will and his team prepare to present their success to the board. During the demonstration, Bright Eyes suddenly turns aggressive. She smashes through glass, knocks over equipment, and charges into the meeting room. Security moves in and shoots her down. The board halts the project immediately, believing the drug has made her unstable. When the lab staff clean up Bright Eyes' enclosure, they discover the cause of her agitation: a newborn chimp hidden under the bedding. She had given birth just a day or two earlier and was protecting her baby. Robert Franklin, one of Will's colleagues, is ordered to put the infant down along with the other test subjects. Instead, he smuggles the baby to Will's office, explaining what happened. Will decides to take the baby home until he can figure out a plan. Under his care, the chimp quickly shows signs of above-average intelligence, likely inherited from Bright Eyes' altered brain chemistry. Will names him Caesar. The project is officially shut down. All remaining chimps are euthanized, and the ALZ-112 files are locked away. But in Will's quiet suburban home, the drug's real legacy is alive, growing, and watching the world with unusually sharp eyes. Will raises Caesar in secret, setting up a playroom in his attic where the young chimp can climb and explore. Caesar adapts quickly to human routines, learning sign language to communicate. His curiosity pushes him to open cabinets, figure out latches, and solve puzzles meant for children much older than him. Will's father, Charles, takes a liking to Caesar. The chimp becomes a daily companion for him, offering company during meals and helping pick up dropped items. Charles, who suffers from Alzheimer's, begins treatment with the same ALZ-112 formula that changed Bright Eyes. Within days, his tremors ease, and his memory sharpens. He starts playing piano again, something he hadn't done in years. Outside the house, Caesar experiences his first trip beyond the backyard fence. He visits the park with Will. The sights and sounds of the world beyond the house fascinate him, but he stays close. As months turn into years, Caesar grows stronger and more self-aware. He learns to read expressions, respond to commands instantly. His relationship with Charles deepens, often sitting with him in the garden for hours. In the lab, Will continues refining ALZ-112, encouraged by the changes in his father. But at home, he knows Caesar's growth is more than simple training. The young chimp's intelligence keeps advancing, and his eyes follow conversations with the kind of focus that suggests he understands far more than anyone expected. One morning, Charles wanders outside while confused. He takes Will's neighbor's car without realizing it, parking it crooked in the driveway. The neighbor, Hunsaker, storms over, shouting at Charles and grabbing him by the arm. The noise draws Caesar's attention from an upstairs window. He watches the confrontation, his expression tightening. Caesar races downstairs and out the door. He charges at Hunsaker, knocking him to the ground. With his strength, he pins the man and bites down on his hand, severing one of his fingers. Charles shouts for him to stop, but Caesar's focus is locked on the perceived threat. Neighbors gather to watch, some filming on their phones. Within hours, animal control arrives at the house. The transport van pulls into the San Bruno primate shelter, a chain-link facility holding dozens of apes. Workers unload Caesar's cage and carry it inside. The sounds of hoots and screeches echo through the hall. Dodge Landon, one of the attendants. He leads him to a concrete enclosure with bars along one wall and a locked gate. From behind the bars, curious eyes watch. A large male named Rocket approaches, asserting himself with loud calls. Dodge tosses food onto the floor and leaves, locking the gate behind him. Hours pass. Caesar observes the others from his corner. He notices an old orangutan named Maurice, sitting quietly and drawing shapes in the dirt. Later, when the yard opens, Caesar steps outside. The other apes gather around Rocket, who tries to intimidate him. Caesar sidesteps and walks away, avoiding a direct challenge. Days later, Dodge brings some visitors to the facility. One man leans too close to Caesar's cage, and in a quick move, Caesar snatches a pocket knife from his jacket without anyone noticing. Later that night, he ties the knife to a stick, uses it to unlock his door, and slips out into the yard. There, he frees Buck, a massive gorilla held in solitary. Buck's sheer size earns instant respect from the others. The next day, Caesar lures Rocket into the play area, swings a metal gasoline canister into him, and knocks him down without further harm. The display of dominance shifts the balance. Rocket's reign is over. Caesar starts earning the loyalty of the group, sharing stolen cookies with Rocket and others, planting the idea that apes together, strong. At Gensis, Will pushes ahead with research despite the earlier shutdown. He develops a stronger version of the drug, labeled ALZ-113. This formula is designed to be inhaled, making it easier to administer, and in early trials it boosts cognitive function even faster. One of the first test subjects is Koba, a scarred bonobo with a history of abuse in other labs. After exposure, Koba's behavior changes quickly. He studies his surroundings with new focus and learns to operate simple devices almost immediately. During preparations for further tests, Robert Franklin is accidentally exposed to the virus when Koba lashes out. Days later, Franklin is sneezing blood and too weak to work. He's later found dead in his apartment. The infection is spreading, though no one yet realizes how lethal it is to humans. Meanwhile, Caesar escapes the shelter under cover of night and makes his way to Will's house. There, he finds and steals canisters of ALZ-113 before returning to the shelter. That night, he opens them inside the enclosure, letting the gas drift through the sleeping apes. By morning, their eyes are sharper, their movements more deliberate, and their communication more complex. Caesar now commands the full attention of the group, and their unity is growing. Morning light breaks over the primate shelter. Dodge walks through the yard with a bucket of food, unaware that the dynamic inside has shifted. He sees that Caesar is not in his cage and goes out to capture him with a taser, but Caesar is not going to back down that easily. Dodge takes a couple shots at him, but Caesar catches the last one and smacks Dodge in the face. He is out cold. Caesar takes this opportunity to free all the other chimps. Dodge comes back after a while and tries to pick up the taser. Right then, Caesar takes a water hose and splashes him, which knocks him out for good this time. All the apes escape the facility, scattering briefly before regrouping under Caesar's call. Their path takes them to the San Francisco Zoo. The group pushes through barriers, freeing orangutans, chimpanzees, and gorillas. The newly freed animals quickly fall in line, recognizing Caesar's leadership. By late afternoon, the troop is hundreds strong. They move together toward the city, crossing streets in bursts, using rooftops and alleys to avoid direct contact with people. Curious onlookers film from windows, their confusion turning to fear as they realize the apes are coordinated. Caesar pauses at a hilltop overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge. The traffic is thick, and police units are already setting up barricades. He scans the scene, gauging the challenge ahead. The next move will decide whether they break through or are trapped. Fog rolls in over the Golden Gate Bridge as cars sit bumper to bumper. Police block both ends, forming a barricade with squad cars and buses. Officers move into position with rifles ready. Caesar watches from the shadows, scanning the structure for weak points. He divides the apes into 3 groups. Koba leads a team of chimpanzees across the high wire supports above the road. Maurice and a group of orangutans take the lower supports beneath the bridge. Caesar, Buck, Rocket, and several gorillas move straight down the center, pushing a bus forward as mobile cover against gunfire. The first clash comes when the gorillas ram the bus into the blockade, sending officers scrambling. A helicopter arrives, circling above. Gunfire rains down, but the apes scatter into the fog. Buck charges the chopper from a cable tower, leaping onto the landing skid and yanking it off balance. The impact sends it spinning into the bridge, killing everyone aboard except Jacobs, who's trapped in the wreckage. Koba spots Jacobs and wastes no time. He drags him from the twisted metal and sends him plunging into the bay below. With the barricade broken, the apes regroup and push through, disappearing into the tree line toward Muir Woods. The apes move through the forest, their pace steady after the chaos of the bridge. They follow Caesar up a winding trail into Muir Woods, the tall redwoods towering overhead. Sunlight cuts through the canopy in sharp beams, and the air is still compared to the noise of the city. Will appears at the edge of the trail, having tracked them through the night. He calls out, and Caesar stops. The others slow, watching as he walks toward Will. There's relief in Will's voice as he tells Caesar they can go home, that it's safe now. Caesar steps closer, placing a hand on his shoulder. He signs slowly, his eyes locked on Will's. Caesar is home. The words are quiet but final. Will stands there, realizing the decision is made. Caesar turns back to his group and walks deeper into the woods. The troop follows, disappearing between the massive trunks until the forest swallows the sound of their movement. Back in the city, an airport terminal bustles with travelers. A pilot walks toward his gate, pausing to wipe his nose. A thin trickle of blood drips onto his hand. He boards the plane without a second glance. On the departure board, the flight is bound for multiple international stops. As the plane takes off, an invisible threat begins its journey across borders. The ALZ-113 virus has left the lab and the city. Within days, it will spread far beyond San Francisco, carried in silence to the rest of the world. And that's the fascinating recap on the rise of Planet of the Apes. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can catch more movie recaps like this. Thanks for watching.